Okay, this looks like it honestly shouldn't look terrible. Let's see how that looks. Alright, so if I tab in, how bad is the damage? Okay, if I tab in, it's really close to looking right. It doesn't, but it's really close. What if I move that to the right a bit? Please tell me that did it. Well, that's not going to do anything, actually. I need to tab in again. This has got to be the strategy for sure, right? I don't even think this is going to do it, but it's going to be close. It's really close. Yeah. Okay, we got it for sure. Alright, so I just need to move this a little more to the left. That should be perfect. Or really close. Maybe I even overshot it. Let's see. As long as I get the full thing in here, we don't really care about their like profile picture, really. It's whatever. Yeah, that's about as good as it's gonna get. That does look pretty good as well. Okay, let's go with that. Um, let me just. Is there anything else we can do? It's a little tight. Like it's probably as good as it's gonna get. Uh, should I make my cam bigger, maybe? Yeah, let me just get this vacuum out of the way. That looks pretty bad, right? Holy fuck. Oh my god. It's attached to this fucking thing. Holy. Oh my god. Ugh. Okay. That should look slightly less worse now. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. Okay. Yeah, let's go with that. All right. Oh, Faustino and Jose Martinez are playing. I'm gonna look at that in a second. Okay. Okay. All right. One last thing. Okay, perfect. All right. All right. Let's get into it. Sorry, I just had a shower a bit ago, so my hair's going everywhere. Um, but yeah, it should look fine now. Let me just go through some moves and see how that looks on stream. If that looks good, we'll just go with that at this point. I pulled up the totally wrong thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it looks fine. Yeah, perfect. Okay. That's as good as it's gonna get. All right, so yeah, so I don't know this opening that much. Um, Obviously this is really common for white to bring this bishop out like this, and just trade it off. He trades it off immediately. I know some people wait, but okay. So yeah, first we're just gonna go through it with just my own analysis of what happened, and then we'll talk about what he did and what I did, and we'll use the engine and stuff. So the first, I think, critical moment is probably here. Like, is d6 a good move or is it bad? Because the whole point, what white always does in these positions, always, is push this pawn. So the question is d6 good? Because the point behind d6 is just to, you know, combat this. But what if they play it anyways, right? Because you don't really want to take it. That looks ugly. But is it fine? It's fine, but but why? Like, why would we do this? And what is the follow-up here? Because obviously, white is attacking this pawn, but maybe white just can't even take it. What if you go like here? If they take, you're in trouble, right? And then they can go here, but then we have this. How are they not just losing the knight here? What's the, oh, they do have this. I see. I see. And then what? You trade, and you just argue that even though you're down a pawn, white has nothing going for them. It's still, honestly, this looks like a difficult position, but yeah, the engine thinks that you're chilling here. Oh, maybe you'd have this move even? No? I'm stupid? Why? Like, because of this? Okay, fine. Can we go here first? No, we can't, idiot. What are you supposed to do? I don't really know. Develop the knight? No, that's definitely bad, okay. Why? What's the point of this? Do you really, is this how, like, is the idea this strong? If they ever take, and here? No, 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 it's not. So they're up 2 pawns, but they're barely better here. I get it. Like, they just don't have anything developed. It's a very unorthodox, very weird position. I wouldn't go for this, to be honest. I just would not go for this. So, first question is d6 even a good move? Yeah, it is, right? Because I think if you don't play d6, they can still push anyways. No, now it's bad, but it's surely not because of d6. The why? f6. And then if they take, you just go knight takes, I guess? Okay. So delaying d6 is not ridiculous, but what if they just go here? Like, you have to play d6 at some point. You have to do it, like, because you need to get your light square bishop out and everything. Anyways, none of this happened. Castles, d6, same order, just different. Apparently they missed something good here. So, pushing apparently was bad. Obviously, same idea. I didn't want to take. This looked bad. This didn't look good. The engine disagrees, though. Taking, there's not that many options. I'm either taking or I'm pushing or I'm doing what? I mean, I could also bring the bishop out, I guess. No. Taking is fine. So taking is fine. But what's the big deal? Obviously, you're not taking this. I'm just not clear on what is happening here. Can we go, like, here or something? You know what I mean? Like, this whole position is very confusing. I'm not sure how to play against this. Let's just see what the engine thinks before we go any further, because I honestly just wholeheartedly have no idea what's going on. Okay. So, yeah, the bishop slightly prefers playing this first. Kind of because we spoke about if they play this, you have f6. So, okay. So the rook comes out. Still does not want to play d6. Does not really do it. Okay, d6 or knight h6. One of these moves. Knight h6 I did play later, so I'm pretty proud of that. So knight h6, the idea is alive. So d6, pushing is, you know, the point. And then in the game, what did I do? At some point I went knight h6. But not yet. So it thinks I should not take. I should just go here. And if he takes, just go queen takes. And just argue that even though these are doubled, they have way less development, which they do. After d3, what can I do? Kingside castles or c4. Okay. Yeah, I kind of understand that this is easier to play, so just don't take this, I think is the moral of the story. Or it's okay to take this. Pushing, though, is not possible. Pushing was bad. Pushing was bad. Alright, how do I go back to the regular without the analysis? Okay. Alright, but none of this happened. Castle, d6. I pushed. Now, pushing is bad, apparently. Pushing is like, what, it's like +1 or something? Yeah. Now, this is one of those times where I think the engine is not very helpful. Like, I'm strongly assuming that this is a positional mistake. It's obviously not that he can play h3. He's not +1 because he can play h3. Like, That's not why they're +1. I th I don't know. But clearly something about this move is positionally wrong. Um, I'll have to look into this because I genuinely don't actually know what the problem with this move is. Maybe it's just because this pawn is weak. It's hard. It's hard to defend. Like h3, what does it say we should do? It wants me to play f6. What? What human is playing f6? Okay, now it's kind of coming back to its senses. Knight h6 is what I would play, because you need to develop in castle. Yeah, I don't know. We'll leave this here, because I just genuinely don't know what the flaw with this is, and they didn't punish it, so it didn't matter. Alright, so they played d3. Clear idea, they just want to develop their pieces. It's not rocket science, right? Just get out. I developed my knight to h6. I think this is all fine so far. I don't want the engine like, I don't want the lines. Well, I'll turn the lines on in a second. So yeah, it's still bad because of some weird idea. And then this was a very weird move by them. Striking in the center. But the whole point is that I don't really like how these pawns are placed anyways. Obviously, what they wanted me to do is take and take, which is apparently what I was supposed to do. Okay. But I didn't want the doubled pawn, so I didn't do that. I thought what I did was perfectly reasonable, just get out of the way. Because obviously, if they take, we're happy. Our pawns are undoubled. These are not that hard to defend. If we ever get this move in, our bishop is alive. So it's a good position. That didn't happen, though. They played h3 now. Hold on. I just realized, let me at least have the stream open. Because I don't have the stream open, but let me at least have that open. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so they played h3, I'm guessing just to kind of stop any ideas of stuff coming here. My knight is on h6, so why not just put it in the center of the board? I don't think that can be bad. It's not. Same exact thing here. Why not just centralize the knight? It's a bad move, though. The engine thinks it's a bad move. Was takes good again? Yeah, the engine thinks that this whole take sequence is fine. Why? Because of this or something? f6? No, f6 is bad now. Now this? No. Here? No. Like, what the fuck? Okay, here. We see that this pawn is very soft. It is a very soft pawn. Now something like this? No, idiot. Now something like this? What's the point? What if they go here? Our bishop is open. But that took a lot of guessing and checking, though. Like, what if they just go, like, here later? Is this a good move to stop this? Nope. Let's bring the rook, maybe? This is so counterintuitive. Jesus. I'm never taking. I think this move is perfectly fine. It's not a mistake. It doesn't blunder anything. I think it's fine. So we trade. Pretty big mistake from our opponent here. Not this move. The next move is a mistake. His idea is that he wants to win this pawn. I go here, which defends the pawn and attacks his knight. So nothing special is happening here. And then he blunders. I'm going to turn off the analysis and everything. He plays this queen move out with the idea that he's defending his knight and attacking this pawn. So if I don't do anything here, if I do something silly like this, then he can just take. Yeah. But unfortunately for him, there's a big problem, which is that I can actually pin his knight. And yeah, as you see, in this position he resigned. Because what can you do? This knight is pinned to the queen, it's attacked twice, and there's not many good ideas here. There's no way to defend this. It's a very weird blunder by him as well. I guess he wanted to speed up on the clock because we were only a few moves in and he was already very low on time, or, you know, lower. But yeah, very aggressive. I thought he was going to go backwards, but then I guess I can take this, right? This can't be too good either because it takes. Yeah, so maybe it was just a hard position. Then what was he supposed to do? Oh, here and here. I see. But he goes here, again, trying to attack. I go here. Very logical move, defending and attacking. He goes here, and then this pin wins the game. Um, yeah. His best move might just be queen takes and just sack the knight. Let's see. It doesn't really matter, though. Bishop g5. Yeah, bishop g5 or queen takes d4. But yeah, the point is that you're losing a piece here. You're losing a piece here. So they decide to not go for that, which makes sense. And yeah, that's the first game. Let's go to some more games. So our opponent did game review this. Does that mean we can look at it? I forget. Like the infinite greed of chess.com. I don't know if that means we can actually look at it or not. Okay, so I can use, okay, so I can look at the game review that he did. Okay, cool. So let's see how he did. So we played pretty accurately. Let's just see how the game went. I don't know. So e4. I played d4. I don't actually know much theory. It's kind of a little Okay, why does this look off now? Like what just happened? Yeah, what happened? Why does this look wrong now? Like what changed? Okay. Like bro, what? Alright, let's zoom in again. Okay, I can maybe move this a smidge more to the left. That might even be too much. Just like barely to the left. And a little bit down? No, down is not an option. Okay. Alright, let's see how this looks. Does that look right? Um, I mean, it looks okay. It's fine, I think. It's not optimal, but we can see the entire game, which is really what matters. And you can see his name and everything, so that's fine. All right. So yeah, so I go d4. It's not a super common move, but it's the move that I chose. Um, just because I don't want to go into the Sicilian. I don't know that much theory. I do play the Sicilian as well, but yeah, I didn't want to go into all that. So I play d4. He takes. Pretty simple stuff, right? We just get our knight out. Idea being we're defending the pawn. Just continue developing. I played these moves backwards apparently, but it's the same thing. Castles. Pretty straightforward stuff so far. This just stops this annoying pin. Yeah, and we're just taking space. This is a pretty weak pawn. That is actually pretty important to just throw out there. If he pins now, I think it loses, right? No, it doesn't lose, idiot. This is not work. It's a bad move. So I'm a big fat liar. If his knight wasn't here, then it would work. Um, yeah, so he goes a6. The whole point of a6 is that he wants to take space on the queen side. Very, very common when you have a knight and bishop like this. He just wants to take space. That's the whole point. That's why a4 is a good move, because it stops b5. If he plays it now, it's just horrible, because you just take it and you win a pawn. He brings the queen out. Now, the queen move... Now, this is kind of dicey, because I did look at this game before. This is kind of weird. This is kind of weird. Effectively, the point is that he wants to push b5. And I thought, I can't let that happen. Because if you let b5 happen, let me turn off the analysis. Is that possible? It doesn't matter. If you let b5 happen, my point is that I can't take, right? Because he's going to take my rook. But the engine actually says, no, you can. Let's say we go king h1, b5, takes, and white is going to be better. Yeah, that's a brilliant move. That's brilliant. Giving up the rook and taking. And the engine argues that the black queen is offsides, black's pieces are terrible, and we're just going to win the game. I would never, ever in a million years play like this, but this is how the engine plays. So pretty crazy stuff. I would never, ever play like this. Never, ever, ever would I found that. Which is why I played this move. The point now is that if he tries to push, we have a few ideas, but maybe we take. Oh, well, now takes just works, and I'm an idiot. Yeah, no, this also defends the rook, so now there's no queen takes. So that's why that would be bad. All right, cool. So he moves his queen because, understandably, he's pretty terrified of this this discovery here. It looks really bad. Yeah, so bishop f4 is bad because of one move, which he doesn't play. Bishop f4, the idea is, again, we're just getting our bishop out. Also, notice that if we kind of do something stupid, maybe he sacks. Not really, right? I don't know. I thought that's what I was worried about, him sacking, but that just wasn't a threat, apparently. So maybe bishop f4 was bad because it just there's no threat. The engine, again, wants me to play a very peculiar move, though. The best move is a5? Like, it's very counterintuitive that you would do this, because you're letting them do this. And then, yeah, only move. The blue arrow appears because the only move to continue winning the game is bishop e2. And the point that the engine makes, and again, this is very high level stuff, like far too high level for me, is that the queen just doesn't have any good squares. It's not possible for it to keep defending everything. I guess it has to go here. But this is probably a mistake for some reason. Of course it is. Because of this move. And then this is double attacked. This is coming. Yeah, really, really hard stuff to see. So I'm not mad that I didn't play queen a5. Even in a classical game, I don't think I'm finding that idea, but really strong. So here I'm pretty happy. He played this knight move to the center, which I get. Oh, also, the reason this is a mistake is because he can take. Again, this whole sequence is very weird. It's very weird. This is bad. This bishop f4 move is bad. Not because he can do something weird like this. This is bad for him, right? Because it's very weakening. But because he can sack the knight, right? That is a knight sack. I can take that knight. But when I take back, there's one and only one move. Or I guess not. The engine doesn't give the blue arrow. But as far as I know, by far the best move is here. And the point is that, unbelievably, even though these pieces are very, very close to home base, there's no way to defend both of them. You're going to lose one of them back. There's no sack. It's weird. It's just a weird position. And now this is a problem. It's just a weird position. Thankfully, none of this happened. He didn't find the sack. And from here on out, I think I pretty easily won it. The reason this is such a bad move is because I can take. He takes back. And the problem for him here is that I can trade queens, which I didn't do. So, but yeah, I can trade queens. He obviously has to take back. And then I go here. And the problem is that all of his pieces are totally out of the game. And we're going to see this later on. These three pieces are paralyzed for the entire game. They stay paralyzed. His bishop is horrible. His knight is horrible. The bishop can't go anywhere. Where is it going? The only square it can go to is here. And we're going to fix that in a second. The rook can't move. This rook can come here maybe. I didn't do this though. Instead, I went bishop back. with the idea that his queen doesn't have any good squares, so it'll probably take me. So just a slightly better version of the same thing. Because you'll notice that when this happens, it's black to move. But if we do it the way that it happened in the game, now I get this extra move and I put my rook on a good file. So that's why I played this. I thought it made a lot of sense. I guess the problem is, yeah, the Stockfish says that black just doesn't have to trade. You're still better. Black still has all these very, very bad pieces. Again, the bishop is literally paralyzed. The only square it can go to is this. And that's temporary, because the only thing defending it's the knight. It's very, very bad. This doesn't happen, though. Now, the way I played the rest of this game, I'm really happy with. Because what I realized, like I was saying, was that black has no moves here. This bishop is frozen. If it goes here, we just take it and he gets tripled pawns. He can't go here, and he can't go here, and he can't go here. So this bishop is stuck. The only thing that could save this bishop and let it move is if this b pawn moved, which is exactly why I go, okay, I attack the pawn first, and that's exactly why I go a5 on the next move, with the idea that now the b pawn is frozen. And look at this. This rook cannot get in the game because this bishop is in the way. But the bishop can't move. It can't go here, or here, or here, or here. He can't push the b pawn, so he can't move this bishop, so he can't move this rook. This bishop is horrible. He can't even mush... Now, sometimes when the bishop is stuck behind the pawn like this, you want to push the f pawn, right? With the idea that you can open up, you can open this up. But he can't even push the f pawn because my bishop is here, stopping it from moving. So, yeah, so all of these things are huge problems for him. He goes here, and my idea with this knight a4 move is that I want to go here, right? So this is the point in the game where we want to actually capitalize on the fact that we're up material. I realize that his rook is stuck, right? So my knight and my bishop, this is a kind of a common idea when the rook is kind of stuck like this, can coordinate. So if he plays a move like this, then I can play knight here. And, oh, I didn't actually realize this. So if he goes here, I wanted to do this, but is that good? It is good, yeah, because of that. And then if he takes, he's actually in a lot of trouble because we have check at the end. So that's pretty nice. And then that happens. And then if he goes here, then we just go here. And it's the same idea. His rook is totally trapped. So he sees this coming. Now, what I thought he was going to do, and it is the best move according to the engine for black. Sorry, 1 second. The best move according to the engine for black, and to my mind, it's the best move too, is these two pieces, again, are a huge threat. They're going to win this rook. So, bishop f8 lets you trade off this really, really good bishop that's about to win your rook. Now if I do this, now you have time. Okay, apparently it wants me to take, but can't you just move the rook? Or does this just lose on the spot? Right, now you can't play this move. This is what you wanted to play. The difference is, after this, you have this move. But if he goes bishop f8, it's a little trickier. Apparently he should sack the rook. Hikaru style, but okay. I think most people are just moving the rook here. And it's a little trickier now, because now if I go here, he just takes it. And I'm still winning, but it's less impressive for sure. This doesn't happen, though. He goes knight here, and he allows me effectively to play this tactic. So, he takes the pawn, and his point is that when I take, he'll take here. But let's just keep going, because you'll see kind of what the thought process was, why this was okay. What I realized, and the reason he played this move, was because his knight is out of squares. Well, the reason he played this was to open up the bishop, so I guess I'm one move behind. But in this position, his knight, believe it or not, is totally trapped here. It's totally trapped. If I can play b4, like, the engine's kind of annoying. It keeps saying the stupid arrow move, but ignore the arrow move for a second. If I could play b4 here, the knight is trapped. He can't go here. He can't go here. If he goes here, we snap it off because we have two attackers. He can't go here or here or here because of my knight. So this traps the knight. which is why he plays effectively the move that's forced. You have to push one of these pawns, right? Because you need to make an escape square for the knight. I did think this move was slightly better, but of course the reason he didn't play it is because it does sack a pawn. Like, you are just unironically sacking a pawn. So there's that. He didn't want to do that, so he pushed. But now we cash in, and this is a nice tactical sequence. I realized that after b4, black still only has one move. Remember, he had no moves. Pushing this pawn only gave him one extra move. He's forced to go here, so this was all easy to calculate. And then I realized, I'm up material. I can triple black's pawns here with this very specific sequence. If I take first here, he gets his bishop out. This is okay, but you know, he's still in the game, right? He's still in the game. Everything is kind of solid. I can't bring my rook in yet. But what I noticed was that I can take the bishop first. He, of course, has to take back. There's no other move. And after takes, all of a sudden, look at this position. His bishop is out of the game. He has three, yeah, I mean, these pawns are absolutely abysmal. He's going to lose these pawns. His king is stuck on the back rank. The only thing he has going for him is this. But I realize that even if he takes, I can just bring my rook in, and this is too much, because we're going to get a passed pawn, which is exactly what happened. In this position, he low-key kind of mouse slipped, which is unfortunate. He meant to go here, and on takes, he was going to take this pawn. I think that was his point. But of course, this is still very easily winning. After check, he moves, and then we just push. And we will win this. But yeah, in this position, he resigned because he mouse slipped. He didn't blunder the rook, but he knows that I'm just going to take this pawn, and then the two passed pawns are far too much. We're going to win with those. So that's why he resigned. Let's go to another game, though, because the next one, I believe I lost. Yeah, let me actually just search. Yeah, let's go to this one. Okay. So we lost to Dante Vargas in this. Unfortunately, Dante did not actually game review, and I'm a brokey, so I didn't game review either. But yeah, give me 1 second here. Sorry. One second. Okay. Sorry. Wait, so why is it that this thing slightly kind of crops itself differently every time? Like, am I crazy, or is that like a real thing that's happening right now? Like, I don't know if I'm out of my mind, but I swear it keeps, like, moving around a bit, which is pretty weird. Let's see if that fixed it. Yeah, that effectively fixed it. Okay. So yeah, so in this game we're playing a 2300, and effectively the reason I think I lost this game was because I did not know how to play against this opening. Really, really common idea. Right, he's trying to stop me from going d4. d4 I think is still a move. But yeah, I'm kind of genuinely curious actually what the analysis thinks. So let's go through some of the moves, right? c3 is fine, right? It's fine. I just don't want to play the open Sicilian. c3. So d4 is still a good move, right? Because even if everything trades, which black should not do this, because now you just have a nice queen and his pawns are terrible. But even if everything trades, you don't lose material. So d4 is still fine. Apparently the most common is this. E takes, knight takes, but then not knight takes back. Maybe bring the bishop out? Bishop b4 apparently, and then this. Okay, and then you just keep playing the game, I guess? How does bishop c4 work? Are you not blundering material? Okay, dude. Okay, well, apparently you can get away with this, because of castles, and then he does this, and then what happens? How is this fine? Oh, okay, yeah, this is kind of a problem, right? We're threatening checkmate, we're threatening the bishop. Very interesting idea. I didn't know this was a thing. If we're not feeling super tactical, we can just take the knight, apparently. This is fine. B takes and D takes are both apparently legitimate moves. I'd be more concerned after D takes, what should we do? Trade the queens. And then you have to go F3 to solidify. And then you're fine here. Okay, so this is actually apparently maybe a better way for me to go about this. D4, the reason I didn't play D4 was because I kind of wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I know there are other moves you can play here, but I just wanted to kind of just test things out. Also on this, what about this? Why are we not scared of this? Because of this. I see. Yeah, so instead I go bishop e2. I'm not entirely clear. Like, okay, this what? So you let this happen, and then you go, yeah, bishop c2 makes sense. With the idea that now at some point you definitely want to go here and open this bishop up. This makes sense. I guess I just didn't play this because you're giving black so much space, but I guess, you know, it's just not worth it. But again, I think a much more solid, reasonable thing to do probably is just this d4 line they showed. I don't know if this is lag or keyboard input. I don't know. So I go bishop e2. They go here. And yeah, so I made a mistake here. So if you guys know this Jamaican dude that also does YouTube chess, he says to take is a mistake. And I did take here, and that wasn't a great move. The engine thinks after queen a4 I'm in good shape. If they take, obviously we just go, we go knight takes e5. Oh, so it's not obvious that I do this. Because if I do this, I guess the knight comes out, right? Yeah. Right, so knight takes makes sense here. And what is he supposed to do? This is moving very slowly, yeah. I'm sorry about the lag here. I'm not clear on what's happening with that. So queen a4, what should they do? Yeah, yeah, I don't know why it's kind of being so chaotic right now. It's just not moving, okay. Queen d7. So now we do take. And then we just castle. And if they push, rook e1. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that was another way to play this. I took, which, yeah, I should have known taking was bad. So, not great by me, but okay. He bailed us out again. Apparently castles is fine here. I guess I was worried about queenside castles, but the engine's not. It apparently thinks that you're fine here. It's just kind of hard to see. I didn't think I was. So here, I guess I had to take. Oh, now we have queen. Ah, okay. So I just kind of missed something tactically here, I guess, yeah. Because they played this move very quickly. Yeah, in 9 seconds they played this. So I really do guess my assumption was just that I couldn't take this. After, yeah, 27 seconds of thinking, I don't take. I gotta be honest, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I'm not in love with that. I'm not in love with the fact that I didn't realize I could take here and just win a pawn. And everything's well defended. So that was a pretty big mistake by our opponent that we should have capitalized on. Yeah, I should have just calculated that after this and this, because it's the only possible idea. After we take back, this is still a threat. That was the whole point of queen b3. His queen needs to babysit these all these weaknesses. And now we're just fine. Yeah, because the bishop defends this weak pawn. Can you just keep playing? Okay, that didn't happen though. Instead, I brought my bishop back. I thought I was being slick. We bring the knight in. Yeah, takes is fine. The knight move is fine. So here we are better. So I evaluated that this was good. My knight is hanging, though. What's the best move? Here? Horrible. Holy shit. Okay. Here. Horrible. Here. This move is good. Yeah, I'm curious, why did I not play this? Because it stops this, which is a huge threat. Um, the queen still can't come here. I guess I was kind of worried because like I'm not actually kicking out the queen. That's definitely why I played knight f3 because I realized I'm not kicking out the queen if I do this. It can stay here. g5 is scary. g5 is really scary. Yeah, your best move is to bring this knight out to d2. And on this, what do? You trade queens. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, this is just a very uncomfortable position. This is not fun. Um, so yeah, I will say I'm forgiven. And then I had one more chance to kind of right my wrongs here. I really should have seen that this was a huge threat. I wasn't really thinking. Um, I should have noticed that this was an absolutely massive threat. To my credit, the only way to stop this move, the one and only way, is knight a3. With the idea that if they go here, then you go check. Missed that one. Now, I'm curious, though. Knight a3 this, and then why are you suddenly okay? Oh, because of knight c4. What if he says screw you? Oh, then now you can take, right? Queen takes c6 check? What? Oh my gosh. What the fuck? Alright, I didn't see this, obviously. What a ridiculous idea. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, I was losing here. Okay. Because after knight a3, you have to see that after this, you have this, and you have to see that after this, you can sack the fucking queen. Yeah, I didn't see that. So we lose, right? And that's it, yeah. So I resigned. The position was just too hard to play. But let's keep going. I kind of forgot how this specific game went. Oh yeah, this was a very interesting game, and honestly, I would say pretty instructive. Um, I think it's a very instructive game. Unfortunately, our opponent did just kind of have a bad connection and disconnected. I don't think that means we shouldn't go over it, though. I still think it's a good game to look at. So let's see what happened. So we play a normal opening, just par for the course. Yep, there's nothing weird. I think everything up to here is fine. I wish I could do an analysis, but it's not worth it. Let's just make sure all these moves are fine. I think they probably are. So his move was even a bit questionable, but bishop f5 is fine, the engine thinks. It's just that it thinks queen b6 is slightly better. Right, because of this idea. Yeah, this is a common idea. And they don't really want to take. Yeah, this is just never good for white, this sort of endgame. I didn't see this. This is a pretty high-level idea. But it's common. It is common in these structures to do this. And the reason that queen b3 is kind of... Like, you can go somewhere else, but then my queen is just on b3. Oh, and apparently bishop f5 is still possible and disgusting here. And if they go here, it's a blunder, I'm guessing, because it takes, yeah. Okay, so there was... That is an interesting idea to keep in mind for later. But okay, bishop f5 is totally fine. We didn't make a mistake or anything. Okay, it's doing this thing again where it's slightly off. It's slightly off here. It's very weird. I don't know why it does that. It's very weird. It's very weird. Let me just center it real quick. I can move this slightly more to the left, I think. Yeah, like slightly. That was a lot. That was a lot. Let's see. Let's see if that's okay or if I did too much there. Yeah, that's about as good as it's gonna get. All right, so bishop f5. He brings the bishop out. Now, I feel like somewhere in my heart, I think I actually genuinely did know that bishop takes d3 is the best move. I don't know why I know this, but I do. Let's find out why though. Okay, e6 or queen b6. E6 I think just argues that white has nothing going for them anymore. This dark square bishop is not looking at much. We have a solid structure in the middle. Our knights are developed. White's knights are not. The queen is not going to do anything scary anytime soon. I think queen b6 is the more interesting move, though, because it does force white to react. If they go here, what are we supposed to do? Completely losing because of knight b4. Why does this lose the game? This, and there's just no way to stop the ideas. Okay, fair. This, and then what? Oh, and then that. Yeah, oops. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So, and if they take like this, I guess the point is now we can go like e6. Or even e5, apparently. e6 is fine. e5, why can we do this? But why would you go like, why can't you just do this? Like, what's the difference? Oh, I get it. You're attacking this. Okay, alright, fine, whatever. We're kind of getting in the weeds here. I think realistically, I would go e6. Okay, so we know what we would do. And if they drop the queen back, let's say to e2, okay, it thinks e2 is better. I think the more natural move is low-key queen c2, but let's just entertain e2. I still take, if he takes like this, he's in trouble. Very uncomfortable. e6, and the point is, I'm guessing if they play like a random move, the bishop comes out, and this is scary? Why is this good? Knight e4. Okay, sure. Okay, I'm still not totally convinced that this is it. Yeah, the engine realizes it's like, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, the engine, yeah. It seems like the engine is not actually thinking that black is really that much better if it thinks about it, but queen b6 and e6 are two reasonable moves. None of this happened though. Hold on, go back. I didn't take, even though I was somewhat aware that takes was good. And then again, critically, just one more thing. In this position, apparently queen b6 is good. And again, the point of queen b6 is that if they go here, you push. That is the point. We didn't play queen b6, didn't happen, whatever, keep going. Again, queen b6 is good for the same exact reason. Here, it's the same motif, I'm pretty sure, yep. So same ideas. Okay, so I let him trade. I go e6, put the knight in the center, we're fine. Now the idea here, because I guess I should kind of talk about what the point is. The point is that we want to attack white's king. So this pawn move is just giving us a tempo to move this pawn forward towards their king. I decide this is like the only piece defending the king, really, that's in front of the king. So why don't we trade it off? He decides to trade. I go back, and I go f5. The point of f5 is pretty simple. I am pretty happy that I found f5 because it does look kind of weird. But the idea is very simple. We want to tear open the king side, put our queen here, and just win. They go in. Effectively, they force me to take. At this point, I do decide to castle, which was the right idea. The problem if I go here, I think, is that they have a check. And it's fine. It's fine. It's just, why do this? Like, why allow this and then have some weird stuff like this? There's no reason. So I was right to castle. Queenside castle is best. There's no reason to get really weird with it. Now here is interesting. I decided to push. Now this was sort of a time situation thing where they were rushing and I was like, I need to just kind of play a move. You know what I mean? Like analysis paralysis. G4 apparently was good. I was very worried about this, yeah. And then just, like, what's the point? Like, takes, and what if they just push? Oh, I can take. Okay. Low-key kind of confused. I'm happy that I realized this was not that good. Like, this is not that good because you're opening your king, and yeah. So I was right in thinking that that's not good, so at least I'm happy I found that sort of kind of critical idea that you shouldn't take everything. So I just lock it down. That seemed fine. But in reality, yeah, I should have realized that this isn't a threat. There's no threat here. So we could just keep attacking. I move my king over. And then here I kind of fumbled. So I went here. But I kind of realized even, like, in the moment that, like, we don't, like, when I go here, the king's just gonna go here. It's gonna defend and attack, and that's it. But what I was supposed to do instead was to push the juicer. If he goes here, now we can go here. And it's different because on this we have check and here and here. And that's crushing. And if he goes here, then what's the move? Still this. The difference is now he can't hide. And if he takes, it's the same exact motif. And if he goes like here or something, I still think this wins on the spot. Yeah. Now there was one kind of funny idea later that I'm going to show. So here, yeah, the engine's kind of spoiling it, but there's one move that's winning, which I didn't find. I thought about it. In the game, I wanted to play it, but I had 3 minutes. And it's more difficult than you might think. It's actually more difficult than you might think. We sack the rook. If he doesn't take it, then okay, like, okay, then he loses the game, right? That's it. It's kind of interesting, but I think we have, like, here or something. Yeah. And then this just looks heinous. This looks horrible. We could take and then roll. So that would have been pretty easily winning. What you have to see is that you have check. The rook check is fine as well, surprisingly. Which is really genuinely surprising to me that you can rook check here, but the queen check is clearly better. If he goes this way, he gets mated. If he takes, he also gets mated. If he goes here, we have check. Same exact idea. Yeah, because it's the same thing. Here and here are invariant. It says they're slightly different, but the point is going to be the same. We're going to check here and then go here. Now this is the part where it gets crazy, right? Because I'm down a rook. And this didn't happen in the game, by the way. I'm down a rook here. And, like, the move that I think most people want to play is you realize that his king is totally cut off from everything. So surely this is the move. You want to bring your rook into the game. But it's not. And the reason is because you're down a rook here, right? You're down a rook. You're threatening this move. So if white messes around, then it's just mate in one. But they can just play this. And all of a sudden, if you check them now, they just run. So rook g8 is actually not good enough. Even though you're down a rook, and you need to do something here. The best move, apparently, is h2. Which, again, is like, dude, you're down a rook. And now the difference is if they go here, you can just promote. Right? So they no longer have that resource. And it turns out that you actually have enough time to do this. White can't get out of this somehow. Which is still kind of surprising. Like, what happens if they go here? You go check. You go d4. What? What do you mean you go d4? And then what? Why do you go d4? I'm so confused, bro. I'm so confused. Why would you go d4 check? What is the point of d4 check? So, okay, fine. Let's look. So d4 takes. The engine thinks you have to check on one of these two squares. Fine. This is forced. Okay. Where's the win, though? Where's the part where we win? Okay, here, let's say he goes here. Now, you have to bring the rook to g8 at some point. He runs away. Wow. This is a pretty unbelievable sequence, I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't have found all this. Yeah, this is unbelievable to find in a game. It's not happening. So that did not happen, unfortunately. Also, unfortunately, it's kind of the only move. It's the only move that maintains like a winning advantage. So I didn't find that. Why is queen e8 good? What's the point? I don't get why queen e8 is good. But okay. I bring the rook over. Seemed fine. Yeah, now this was kind of a mistake. So on this move I played here, but this is a mistake because it lets them play b6. And b6 is a problem because in every other position, even if I went here, if he goes b6, I have a6, and we're fine. Specifically, if I go queen c7, now on b6, I can't go a6, or else, uh-oh, spaghetti, over there's the queen. And it's over. So yeah, queen c7 was very bad. I needed to really think in this position about, like, what white can even threaten here. Because I'm down on time, I'm kind of panicking, I'm not thinking really. I need to realize that white's only two ideas are pushing. And this move just allows them that. So I let them push. King a8 is the only move, right? Any other move just loses on the spot. I mean, king c7 is interesting, but I guess the queen comes in, right? And there's no way to stop this pawn from promoting and winning a rook. So king a8 is forced. They play this move, and again, I made a move that's very bad. Now, at this point, I'm lower on time, so I'm kind of panicking and stuff, so I'm gonna forgive myself. I'm gonna forgive myself here. But I kind of made a pretty big mistake. So yeah, I'm gonna forgive myself here, but I made a pretty big mistake. I could have just realized that in this position, I can just go here. The reason this is so strong is because even though this pawn looks weak, it's actually not. If he brings a rook, we can just take. Everything is defended. And believe it or not, more than that, his pawn actually defends our king. Everything here is very nicely defended. He can never ever try to double up, or else at some point we'll take here. and the king is wide out in the open, and our queen should be pretty strong in that position. I take, which was like, ugh. Taking was just not good. Taking was not good. The reason that I think taking isn't good, there's only one move, and the engine agrees, so I'm kind of happy that the engine verifies me here. If he plays a move like this, I saw a crazy idea here, by the way. I'm going to turn off the analysis because I want to show this. But I'll keep the evaluation on just to make sure. So I thought after rook... So I thought the reason that he can't play this, I thought originally, was to have rook takes. And you'll see that the engine shoots up. The reason the engine shoots up here, because obviously my point is that, haha, you're not defending this anymore, so you can't take with the rook. And if you take with the queen, indeed, this is really bad. Yeah, it's just, again, it's kind of weird it says it's this losing. I think you can probably just move the queen up, and I'm a chud idiot loser. Oh, we can take. I'm being an idiot, my bad. And if they ever take now, this is probably a good move. And we gobble up the pawns. But they have a very, very strong move here. Notice that the queen defends this pawn. So when they play rook check here, I'm checkmated. I'm literally checkmated. I have to take with the rook. They promote to a rook for aura. I take because, again, that's the only move, and they win a rook. So I'm very, very happy that they didn't play this move quickly, because if they had played this, I just may have blundered this. Maybe not, but I may have. Funny, also, is that this sort of inconspicuous looking move, rook g7, for the same reason, just blunders mate in one. I think this is a very difficult position. The only two moves I look at here are rook g4, g7, or rook g4, g6. Only two plausible moves. g4, g6 defends the pawn. So if he goes here, which is the idea, then we defend it. Or we go like this. But yeah, it's weird, because this is like a threat, you know what I mean? This is a big threat on the board. It's a big threat. But the engine thinks I have a move here. To be okay. One of the moves that I see... So I'm going to quickly verify that these don't work, because I think both of these moves fail to rook here. When, after I move, white is just going to collect this pawn, and then this is way too much. That's my guess. Both of these moves should lose on the spot to this move. Yeah, and they do. So I was right in thinking that definitely no, you can't play both of those moves. So it's kind of scary because both of my two candidate moves were totally, totally wrong. But I think maybe the move here, again, this does not work. Not because of that, but because of the rook check. But maybe we have this move, d4. The reason that d4 might work is because one of the biggest problems in this position is the fact that the queen eyes this pawn. That's actually really, really strong in this position for white. So if we disconnect that, then all of a sudden white has no checkmate threat. They're not threatening to bring the rook in, and they need to react. Now you might ask, what happens if white just takes it? That would be the obvious, like, duh move, right? Because then it just, the threat is back. But the difference, I think, in that position is that maybe then we have time to either take here or go here and try and trade the queens. Let's see if the engine thinks. Yes, okay. So d4 is the move. d4 is the best move. Hold on, sorry, something's happening. All right, we're good, sorry. So d4 is the best move here. Again, this is all analysis. This did not actually happen. If they take like this, I think I do have to blockade. Right? Because their idea is going to be to push. Like, for instance, if I just take lackadaisically, they play here, and then I'm in a lot of trouble. They're going to win my queen. Maybe now we can take, and the difference now is there's not this tactic because we can take here. Right, okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's still kind of tricky, but okay, that makes sense. And then if queen takes... Oh, it's in one. LOL. Okay, so this is probably why it's a good move. Actually, that's actually a better reason. That's a way better reason than I gave. Sorry, hold on. It's very annoying right now. So yeah, so this is a way better reason than I gave, is that there's this. Okay. So, unfortunately though, none of this happened. They just lost on time, and then, yeah. Alright, so let's do some puzzles. Let's get to puzzling. Okay. Am I like, what am I doing? Alright, alright, so we're at 58 right now. Let's go through this slowly. Okay. So, the first thing I see is Queen G6. But Queen G6 is not a huge threat. Or, yeah, it is actually. Queen G6 is a huge threat because what we're threatening in this position is knight takes. They have to go here because the pawn is pinned. And then the other knight in. That's a pretty big problem for them. And they have to take with the rook and then come back. But what's interesting, honestly, in that final position is like the materials is just equal. Like it's not like the game doesn't end there. Also, this move is just bad because he can just take, right? He can just take the knight. And then when we take, he just takes. So that's not a great idea. The other idea that I see is to bring the rook up. Or sack and then bring the rook up. If we bring the rook up immediately, then again the sack kind of works. So maybe we should take first. Yeah, if black does anything but take, they're gonna lose because of some discoveries. So let's say takes and takes. So we can start with that. This would for sure happen on the board. Then, now if we try to check with the queen, he just blocks, so that's not that good. So maybe we bring the rook up, right? Because the king can't escape. If the king doesn't move, we're just going to check him. The most interesting idea, I think, for black is to go here. And then we have to calculate. Then we have to calculate how we're going to win. I think on that, it's kind of difficult. Yeah, here, 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 and then here. And we have to find a win here. There's no like weird mate or anything. Like, we can't like sack the queen or anything. If I just go like very rudimentary and just try and checkmate him, then I think the queen just comes in. And I'm not necessarily winning that. If takes here, here, and here though, that looks slightly more interesting. Then black can defend mate by going rook here, maybe. That does defend mate. Sure. And then what do we do in that position? Is there a move in that position? Or is it just not that? Oh, it could also just be takes and then takes, right? Takes here, here. But then, yeah, what if the queen comes in? Like, It's very iffy. I will say, this is just kind of how I do puzzles. You can call it guessing. I think takes is for sure the first move. The idea of taking and then going here is very strong, but it looks like it's too slow. If I just go here immediately, they have this. And I really don't actually see a follow-up after that. Oh, maybe if I go here. So here, again, as far as I know, really the only move I can see is here. Because any other move loses immediately to something, like rook check. So here, maybe we do play this. And if I'm right in thinking the only move for black is to go here, then maybe then we play something like the knight in. Like the knight in here or something. With the idea of playing check. Yeah, but then he can just take it. Oh, that's not good. Can we go here instead? So the full line right now is here, here, here. The rook comes across to defend checkmate. I want to play this move, but he can take, right? And I don't really get the point. Because after here and here, I don't actually see how that's checkmate. Can we just trade? Here, 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 here. What if we just take it? Right? Like, that's like a good question. What if we just take it? So he takes. All right, so the king is right here. The rook is gone. Just go for it. Okay. So yeah, exactly what we said would happen. But then this is wrong. Okay. So I guess this was the move then. On this, maybe we have that. Probably something like that, yeah. I guess let's just see though real quick what it was. Oh, rook back. What? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. And now it works. Now it works. Because if they just move its mate, right, this idea. Otherwise, we just take the queen. That's funny. That's really funny that that works like that. Okay. Let's play again. Okay, this looks absolutely horrible on the screen, though. Yeah, I don't know why puzzles are so weird on the screen. Like, it's super zoomed in, which is like really weird. No, that doesn't look right. Alright, let's just play regular games. Or actually, I'm gonna